Mindset is what separates the best from the rest. As entrepreneurs, we're absolutely sunk if we do not have the right mindset. Our special guest today is going to share some of his best mindset tips, including the one question that every entrepreneur should be asking themselves. Hi, I am Tim Fitzpatrick with Rialto Marketing, where we believe marketing shouldn't be difficult. All you need is the right plan. I am super excited to have with me today Ken Attard from Mindset Malta. Ken, welcome and thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Tim. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, and I'm super excited to share some stuff with you.
Yes. Now, I must say, you are absolutely the first person I have interviewed that lives in Malta. So that's pretty awesome. And for those of you that do not know where Malta is, it is in the Mediterranean Sea, just south of Sicily, right? I got that right?
That's absolutely correct. 60 miles south of Sicily.
Okay. Yeah. So Ken is in a beautiful part of the world. And you can get to all kinds of beautiful parts in less than 3 hours, right?
That's correct. Very much so. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. I can be, like I was mentioning to you before, I could be in the Swiss Alps, or I could be on the French Riviera, or I could be in London within a couple of hours, without a doubt.
Okay. Well, I'm jealous. Before we jump into talking about mindset, want to get to know you a little bit better with some rapid fire questions. You ready to jump in?
Let's do this.
Okay. When you're not working, how do you like to spend your time?
Mostly probably reading, studying, listening to podcasts, listening to anything that I believe can give me just more tools to use in my work, believe it or not. So funnily enough, my downtime a lot of times is, I really consider it play, and I'm thankful for that I can actually consider it play. As to what I do is, I just love what I do. So usually that's what I'll be doing.
Okay. What's your hidden talent?
My hidden talent, believe it or not, is skating.
Skating.
I was an avid hockey player when I was a youngster. When I was born in Canada, and I moved to an island that does not have ice.
So do you have rollerblades?
No, I don't.
No.
I don't.
Okay.
It's just once in a while, if I manage to get, like I said, get to London or something like that at the time of the year where I can do some skating, I'll do a bit of skating. And believe it or not, after so many years, it just feels like I'm at home on skates. So that's something a lot of people don't know.
Isn't it a requirement to know how to skate if you're from Canada?
That's what a lot of people think. It's not a requirement though, but usually the skates are on by the time you're 4 or 5 at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Oh my God, I've been given so many good pieces of advice. The best piece of advice that I've ever been given, one of them is to shut up and just listen.
Shut up and listen.
I think that's actually probably one of the best pieces of advice that I've had.
That's a good one. I've never had anybody share that one. What's the one thing about you that surprises people?
The one piece, usually it's when here in Malta, we speak with the Maltese language. We have a Maltese language as well, which I had to learn when I came here. So I still speak with a bit of an accent when I speak in Maltese. But when people hear me here, because most people understand English without a doubt, but when they hear me here and they ask me, oh, so you just arrived not long ago? And I tell them, no, I've been here for 42 years. And they're like, you got to be kidding. That can't be true. You've been here for 42 years and you still have that accent? So yeah, that surprises them without a doubt.
It's deeply ingrained. What does success mean to you?
Oh, wow. Success to me, I would say for me, it would be if I were to look at about 5 different areas of my life, as in, so my wealth, my career, my spirituality, my health, my relationships, and my personal development, those 5 areas, when they're sort of things are really moving smoothly in them, I'd say I'm sort of reaching a point of success. Do we actually ever get to that ultimate? I don't believe so. I think there's always more to learn. And more than that is that when I'm going through the difficulties, I believe that success is when someone is going through difficulties and they can sway through that actually laughing. I think that's highly successful.
Yeah. Cool. I like that. Where's your happy place?
My happy place right now, I would say more than ever, as a physical place, I would say we have a sister island called Gozo, which is only about 60 square miles. I have a small place there, and I'd like to get over there and I can just chill. I can get some inspiration, do some work, do some writing. So as a physical place, I think that's my happy place. Other than that, without a doubt, is on the inside. As much as a cliche that is, my happy place is definitely on the inside.
Yeah, cool. What qualities do you value in the people that you spend time with?
Qualities that I value in the people that I spend time with, I would say their genuinity, being genuine, and them actually really wanting to be in my company.
Yeah, it's not really fun hanging around people that don't want to hang around you, huh?
That really don't want to hang around you. I know, right? So yeah, and having a good time, understanding just having a good time, and I think that's something that we need to appreciate more and more. So
tell us more about what you're doing with Mindset Malta. How are you helping people, and what's that all about?
Okay, so fantastic. So I've been delving in personal development for over 15, 16 years. In one way or another, and recently, well, not really recently, but I've decided to really focus on entrepreneurs. So I'm helping frustrated entrepreneurs to adapt and pivot their business, and using my proprietary ARC method, it allows them to actually have more time freedom. Because from some of the surveys that I did, and I found that a lot of entrepreneurs are having a big challenge, with actually having their time freedom. So this is my main focus right now. I'm doing group consulting, meaning I can do this worldwide, which is technology is phenomenal for that. I mean, think about it. I'm talking to you from a small island in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, so far away, and we can do this. And this is the approach that I'm taking with my consulting. I'm doing group consulting. Whereas in the past, I used to do quite a bit of one-on-one, but it just makes more sense time-wise as well when I'm talking about time. And this is how I'm helping entrepreneurs, so that, amongst other things, but one of the main things is for them to actually have more time freedom.
Isn't it interesting that I think most entrepreneurs, I don't want to speak for everyone, but most of the entrepreneurs that I know, one of the main reasons they do this is because they want that freedom of time. And ironically, a lot of us don't.
That is precisely what I've been telling so many people. It's like, think about it. When someone starts as an entrepreneur, just like you said, what are the reasons they start? Why do they want to become an entrepreneur? Why do they want to have their own business? Yeah. And more often than not, they think they have a great idea that they want to present to, the world, or wherever it is they're going to present this. And they want to have the freedom of time to work the hours that they want to work. They want to create an income that they believe will sustain them and have all the things that they want. Ultimately, like you said, they want freedom is what it is. And then, they find themselves working, 10, 15, 16-hour days. And, this isn't a horrible thing when it's for a very short period of time. Those days come. Yeah. But when it becomes the norm, then this is that you're going completely incongruent to the values you started out with. Yeah. And then this starts to cause a lot of stress. And this is precisely what I want to teach entrepreneurs, is how they can actually get back that time freedom.
So your group coaching program, what does that look like? Is it a set program for a certain period of time?
Yeah, it's a 1-year program, because I take them through a whole process. I take them through my ARC method. And my ARC method basically is based on 5 different pillars. And we go through awareness, we go through adapting, we go through alignment, applying, and allowing. So these 5 pillars, and I go through it through a full year, and we go through each of the steps. And it doesn't mean that I start with one step and then go to the next step and then go to the next. No, because they're so interlinked. I would actually go back and forth. And that's why I've adapted a way that, anybody who wants to come into the group consulting, it doesn't mean I start on a certain date and finish on a certain date. You can come into the program at any point in time and fit in without a doubt. Yeah. And I intertwine that with even personal, because they can even be in touch with me. I have a great app that I use that they can get in touch with me throughout the week and send me a short video of a question or anything like that. And then we also have our live Q&As as well. So I take them through a process. It's a year process, and this is important to understand because you can learn a lot very quickly without a doubt. But also repetition is going to be very important. And ultimately what we're doing is we're undoing some of the old programs. We need to unlearn some of the old programs, and then we need to install the new programs. And sometimes that takes a bit of time, a piece of period of time. And it's a matter of also creating new habits, and also bringing, and this is something I really want to talk about, I think we might get into it, is bringing mindset to be top of mind most of the time.
Yeah. I got it.
So I think this is part of it that is really important. That's why I like to take the full year.
So let's jump into talking about mindset. I think it's difficult to talk about mindset without talking about beliefs. I think there's a correlation there. So let's talk about that. How do beliefs come into play when we talk about mindset? Absolutely.
So simply put, and this is what amazes me as well, is that, and which amazed me about personal development, is there's a thought process that is going on. Everybody has a thought process going on. And in fact, my first pillar of the ARC method is awareness. The thing is this, that there's a ton of people, including entrepreneurs, who are totally unaware of the thought process that's going on. So very simply put, your thoughts create feelings. Now, to make it really simple, your thoughts create either a good feeling or a bad feeling. Very simply put. Now, there's a lot of in-betweens or whatever, but more or less a good feeling or a bad feeling. Now, that feeling, whatever that is going to lead you to your actions and your behaviors.
Yeah.
It's going to lead you to your actions and your behaviors, depending on what that feeling is. And then those actions and your behaviors are going to lead you to your results and your experiences.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how the thoughts are, directly related to the results and the experiences you're having. So obviously you need to go back. If there's a result or experience you're having in your life, you need to go back to your thoughts and see what needs to be changed. Because if there's an area that you're not happy with the results, something needs to change. Now, what is a belief? A belief is simply a thought that's been thought over and over and over and over and over and over until it becomes a belief. That's why at a very young age, we're very much influenced between the age, when we're born to the age of 7, we're very much influenced by our parents, by our grandparents, by the teachers we're surrounded with, and they're actually installing a ton of programs. So, when it comes to entrepreneurs, for instance, a very common program for entrepreneurs is that you continuously need to be taking action. You always need to be taking action, because if you're not taking action, you're not doing enough. That money doesn't grow on trees, that you have to work really, really hard to be successful.
Yeah.
These are all programs that have been installed over the years, and installed, with the greatest of intentions. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying at all that you don't need to be taking action.
Yeah.
Far from it. But what I have learned over the years, and what I've experienced and what I've discovered, is that it's not the action part that's so important. It's actually the inspired action that is so important. There's a huge and a significant difference between action and inspired action. Do you know anybody that is really busy all the time, really doing nothing?
Yeah, they're not getting anywhere.
Not getting anywhere. Like, they're just always busy. It amazes me how, I can contact someone. They say, oh, I really don't have time. I never have. Like, do you have 15 minutes somewhere? No. I'm always, how is it you never have time? So they're always doing something. It's true. They're always doing something. But sometimes it's not about the doing that's most important. I talked about my happy place being inside. It's about the being. Now, this is the difference with the inspired action. The inspired action, you're actually aligning with something that is bigger than you. Call it your higher self, call it God, call it divine, call it source, call it source. It doesn't matter what word you want to use. It really doesn't matter. It's just certain words will, give people perceptions of what that is. So I might say God to someone and they have a perception of that, and it might not be what they're comfortable with. So no problem. We'll talk about it differently. Doesn't matter. But when you can truly align with that, and that's why one of the things that I emphasize with entrepreneurs, especially those who are going, because they're only going, because somewhere along the line, someone told them or ingrained a program that told them, listen, if you're not going, you got to feel bad about yourself because you need to be doing something else. Because if you're not going, then there's something wrong because someone else is going and they're going to take something away from you if you don't go. Right? Yeah. Because, we've put it in our mind that there's this proverbial pie when it comes to abundance that, that there are slices that we get a slice of. And, the bigger the slice, the more we get. But the bigger slice we take, that means we're taking away from someone else or someone else is taking away from us. Whereas when we truly tap into our source and we truly start to understand about abundance, we realize that this pie is unlimited. There's enough for everybody. Yeah. It's no one's taking anything away from you. No one can ever take anything away from you. So when my point behind this is I tell entrepreneurs who are going to stop. You need to stop. You need to stop and slow down so you can quiet down your mind so that you can allow yourself to literally tap into that energy. And the amazing thing is when you do this is where the inspiration comes. This is where an idea pops into your head. This is where all of a sudden someone's name pops into your head and you go, oh, I should contact them. And they might be and all of a sudden you're contacting one or two people and getting the business rather than having to, and let me use this word that tends to come up, rather than having to grind and talk to 100 people to maybe find one person who's aligned with you or who wants your product. Yeah. So, and the amazing thing is this as well, when you stop, when you decide, when you make a decision to stop, it's actually an action in itself. It's still an action. Yes. Yes, it's an action of stopping. Yes. It's an action of stopping. And when you stop, it gives you that time to, actually, sometimes it could be, sometimes I love, to take a power nap. If I'm feeling a bit like, I take a power nap. And during that power nap, sometimes I wake up and I have an inspiration to write something. I have, like I said, an inspiration to maybe talk to someone, whatever it may be, just because I slowed down my mind. And this is so vital. And this is how our beliefs play a big part in our mindset, because if you have those ingrained beliefs running, they will run on automatic. So those unconscious beliefs will run on automatic. You'll always end up going back to default. I like to explain it very simply, is that if every day you take the same road back home with your car from work, for instance, and every day you go from work to home and you take the same route every time, if on one particular occasion you say, oh man, I need to stop at the grocer because I need to pick up a couple of items, and you start heading. Now, if you're very conscious of that when you leave, which is using the front part of your brain because the unconscious is at the back, but if you're very conscious about that, you'll actually go to the grocery store. But the thing is this: the minute you start thinking and you get swayed from that consciousness, you will automatically go home. And you might have found this. I found this with myself a number of times. I know I needed to stop somewhere. I go straight home, for instance, and then all of a sudden I go, holy mackerel, I was supposed to stop at the grocery store. Yeah. What happened? Well, because I went on automatic pilot. Yeah. I went and I ran the normal automatic programs. I didn't keep it front of mind enough because it's not something I do consistently. Now, we can start to bring things front of mind and create new habits so that ultimately now we can unlearn the old programs and create the new programs. So that. Mm-hmm.
So would you say in general, if we have beliefs that are positive and empowering, that's helping fuel our mindset. And on the opposite, if they're beliefs that aren't helping us, right? They're not healthy, that's negatively impacting our mindset.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
when I say, because I like to use the word resourceful or unresourceful.
Okay.
So if I have a program that's running, and like I said, in the unconscious one, sometimes we don't even realize what programs are running. We could potentially be even sabotaging ourselves.
Yeah.
As people say they want success, so what's stopping them? Is there something? Did someone along the road say, "Listen, oh, you know what? Everybody who's successful, but they're not spiritual if they're successful." So now all of a sudden I have this conflicting thing here that, if I'm successful and I am wealthy, I can't be spiritual. For instance, it's just an example.
Yeah.
Whereas in actual fact, you can have both. What's stopping you from having both? And vice versa. So if I'm spiritual, that means I can't have money. But if I have a lot of money, I can't be spiritual. It works both ways, because these are some of the programs that people were, installed with when we were younger.
Yeah.
So if I have these unconscious programs running, and that's why it's important to look at our results. So, am I really happy in my relationships? Whether they be my relationships at work, whether they be my intimate relationships, my relationships with my friends, with my colleagues. Am I really happy with those relationships? Are they the relationships that you really want to have? If they're not, something needs to change.
Right.
Am I happy with the career I'm on, the wealth that I'm creating, the career that I'm on? Am I happy with that? Am I aligned with with the values that I truly believe in?
Yeah.
And these are really important questions to actually look at, because you can determine whether or not you're having let's say a good thought or not, because you can tell by the feeling that you're having. If you're having a really not so good feeling, it's just because it's not aligned with who you really are. So a lot of people, for instance, and it's quite normal, let's make this really clear. People need to practice this, and you are a human being. So you are learning. I have my days where I have my doubts. But the difference now is this: if I have a doubt and I can feel that feeling, that just means I'm not aligned with my true self, because my true self has no doubts. My true self knows that I am successful, that I'm abundant, that I'm loving, that there's nothing. So all that bad feeling is that you're not aligned with your true self. Your true self is telling you, "Hey, dude, you're doubting for no reason, because that's not the truth."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When you have that good feeling, so when I have that bad feeling, if I have that bad feeling, and what's significantly different, because I get it, is that I change it quickly. You can learn to change it quickly. And what a lot of people don't realize is for instance, every thought you have has an association with a picture or a movie. So Tim, if I ask you right now, what's the color of your front door at home? You have to pull up a picture or a movie of your front door to be able to tell me the color.
Right.
You have to.
Yeah.
And you looked up towards it.
I did.
You have to do that. Yeah. So our thoughts we have association with that. And we also sometimes create internal dialogue, things like, "I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough." And we create that. So you learn to change those. Something that's unresourceful. If I'm bringing up an unresourceful picture or a movie, you learn how to change it. There are ways to change it so that you change it. So you change the feeling. If you're having an off day, I know people listening can take this with them right away. You're having an off day. You're not feeling the greatest. Think of something that makes you feel good. Even if it's as simple as your favorite food, even if it's, the last great vacation you had. For a lot of people, they just simply need to think about their kids, and it makes them feel good right away, or their family, whatever it may be. And you can prepare that from way beforehand. You can say to yourself, "Okay, let me think of something really good, and let me make a really good picture of this." So, whatever it is. And I'll have that prepared so that on a day, before we were talking, we mentioned about skating.
Yeah.
If I think about skating and how good that makes me feel when I go skating, I will automatically change. My neurology will change. My physiology will change. And now all of a sudden I'm ready to do whatever I need to do and take the action that I need to take with whatever I'm doing, even though skating has nothing to do with potentially the work that I was going to do. But
Yes.
now I feel good about myself. Very simple. Anybody can do this.
So why do you think mindset has a tendency of kind of falling by the wayside and getting ignored?
Well, my theory behind this is this, and I truly believe this, and I really came up with this recently. I'm calling it the triple U syndrome. U being the letter U. So
Okay.
triple U syndrome, man. And the first U of the triple U syndrome is underrated. Most people underrate the power of their mind. They underrate it. The second U is they underestimate it. Like if I told you that I can pretty well guarantee you that the superpower that each and every one of us has is our mind. It is without a doubt, if you use your mind with purpose and understand the thinking process, it is a trillion gigabyte computer you have on your shoulders, which you can use to create the results that you want once you know how. But it's underestimated.
Okay.
And because it's underrated and underestimated, it gets underutilized. It gets put on the back burner. It just gets put way back here. Because for the most part, I mean, we have so much information available to us nowadays, right? I mean, there's more information available today. You know, a child or a student has more information available to them in one day than my grandparents could have had available to them in a lifetime.
Yep.
There's so much information. And for the most part, most entrepreneurs, they've heard about mindset. We hear about it all the time. Be positive. You need to have a really positive mindset. And we hear about it. And might see an inspirational talk. There could be someone listening right now. And they might say, oh, this is really cool. This is really interesting. Let me look into it a bit. And they look into it for a day or two, maybe a week. And then it gets put on the back burner. And the reason, and I understand why, and let me tell you why it is that this happens. It comes back to our beliefs. It's only because you still don't have a strong enough belief that your mindset is your superpower. You go, yeah, okay, I understand there's mindset. That could be really good. But if you really had a belief that it was your mindset that is creating everything for you, you would bring that thing right in front of you every single day, and you would keep it top of mind every single day and make it a point that you start your day already with it top of mind. So you create the intention for the day. So you create that, I'm not a big fan of the word positive, but create that positivity right away from the get-go. And that's why, you know, on top of the triple U syndrome, then there is the triple S movement, I call it. And the triple S movement is this: if you want to shift away from the triple U syndrome, is you need to sign up. You need to sign up and say, listen, I want to keep mindset top of mind. And then you sink in. And when sink being SYNC, sink, you sink into your true self. You will start to align yourself. You start to understand how you can tap in to your source energy, your true self, God, the divine, whatever you are comfortable with. And once you do that, the third S is you will start to see yourself shine.
I love it.
So you need to move from the triple U syndrome to the triple S movement, because it's movement forward. And this is the reason why I truly believe that people don't go to their mind. They just don't have enough of a belief in it. You know, people will say, I don't know if it's really true. It's no, and it's only because, really and truly, you know, there's a lot of people who will say that they want to make certain changes, but they really don't. At some point, at some level, they're happy the way they are. They don't want to rock the boat, because you know what? Some people are very, very scared of having that success. Like, if I get the success, what am I going to do with that? They don't know what they're going to, all of a sudden, you know, they just might not be ready for it. And that's okay too. This is the beauty of it as well. Like there's really no right and there's no wrong. No one's telling anybody they're right or wrong. You are on your path. And the beautiful, really beautiful part of it is you are exactly where you are meant to be right now.
Right now.
Even though you might be going through some difficult challenges right now, but you potentially can't see everything that's going on. You can't see the whole territory. You only have your map, and that's it. I like to explain that, like I said, my grandparents or my great-grandparents, let's go to my great-grandparents, for them, the world was Malta, an island that's 120 square miles. The minute you step off the island, even if it's just into Sicily, your world just changed. Your map just changed. It just changed. And then, and then it expands and it expands. But a lot of people are happy in their little world, which is fine, which is great. They can have it. But they're not ready to expand yet. And that's why they just put mindset and they hear about it, but they say, no, I'm just going to leave it there.
That's really interesting stuff. I love the concept of the triple U syndrome. And then we gotta make movement here with the triple S movement. So let's dig into what I teased in the beginning. What's the one question every entrepreneur should be asking themselves?
Are you being honest with yourself? Are you really being honest with yourself? This was hugely impactful for myself. And, are you really being honest with you? We touched on it a bit already, but, are you really being honest about yourself in the business that you are in? As an entrepreneur, are you being honest with yourself with the results that you are getting? Are you being honest with yourself about the way you are taking decisions? Are they still congruent with the values that you started off with? Or are now you making decisions that are incongruent with those values? You need to be honest with yourself and go back and say, okay, what are my core values? What are important values to me as an entrepreneur? Is doing business in an honest way, in an ethical way, in just different values that are important to you. That everybody has their own values. So being honest to yourself about the relationships that you're cultivating, be it within your organization, be it within your, like I said, your intimate relationships with your children, with that, are they the relationships that you truly want? Do you really want to be the entrepreneur that never sees his child ever? Or very rarely? Or all of a sudden they're 15 and you're going, holy mackerel, they're 15.
What happened?
What happened, right?
Yeah.
Because it goes by. I have a 28-year-old. I can't even believe it to this day that she's 28. I'm like, now, thankfully I did see her most of the time. But
yeah.
but there were times. No, I look back, there were times when I was putting in some hefty hours without a doubt. Right? So are you being honest about your spirituality? Are you being honest about your personal development? How much time do you actually spend on making yourself a better version of yourself every single day? Do you not? It doesn't matter, but you just got to be really honest with yourself. And what a lot of people tend to do, and I've done this in the past, and this is why I can talk like this about this, is that what a lot of entrepreneurs will do, and people in general, but we'll talk about entrepreneurs, is they will have a pile of manure in front of them, and they will candy coat it. They will cover this pile of manure with candy. They will candy coat it. And the fact is that is still a pile of manure, even though you are candy coating it. All right. So you need to get that shovel and be honest with yourself and say, listen, I need to start digging deep here and getting rid of this manure so that I can actually start to move forward. Because before you do that, and that takes being honest with yourself, that takes courage. That takes courage, because that potentially you're going to need to be making some difficult decisions. But what I'm also here to say to entrepreneurs, and the thing that I want to shatter completely is this, is that an entrepreneur does not have to live a life of continuous suffering, of continuous, struggle, never have fun, no fulfillment. No, you as soon as you start to change these programs, because those are just programs that people, who decided that it has to take 5 years before you make a profit? Who decided that? Does it really? I mean, if you believe that, that's essentially what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, it could happen, and so be it, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. Who essentially told you that, you know what, you have to make huge sacrifices and you can't see your family while you're building your business? Who decided that? But if you believe that, you're gonna enter you're gonna enter that realm of doing that. You know, who decided that your business can't be fun? You can't have a laugh during your business. You can't laugh at yourself for some of the mistakes you're gonna make. So what?
Yeah.
Right? So this is what I really want to shatter with entrepreneurs for them to understand, is that you can have fun, you can be fulfilled, you can have time for yourself, time for your family, time for, you know, for your friends, time for the things that you love doing outside of your work. You know, so I really, this is the thing that I really want entrepreneurs to understand, is that you really and truly can have it all. You just need to start shifting the way you think.
You need to believe that it's possible first.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ken, you've shared some amazing tips here with us today, and I really do appreciate it. And I know that there are people that are watching or listening or will at some point who are experiencing this lack of freedom. They're stuck on the treadmill. If they want to learn more about what it's like to work with you and learn more about you, where should those people be going?
The best thing for them to do right now is this, and I want to offer this to everybody who's listening, is that I have a no obligation masterclass that I've put up, and I speak about, you know, the 3 secrets that are actually preventing you from adapting and pivoting right now. And all they simply need to do is go to adaptandpivotnow.com. It's adapt and the word and pivotnow.com, and they can just go there. They can opt in. They can get the free masterclass. It's about 30 minutes long, so it's not going to take up, you know, tons and tons of your time. You can watch it staggered if you'd like to as well. And from there, you can see if there's something that resonates with you or not. And if it does, you can take it further. If it doesn't, hopefully you'll get some valuable information that you can start to use right away as well.
Awesome. Ken, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I know people are going to get a ton of value from this conversation. For those of you that are watching, listening, thank you for tuning in. I am Tim Fitzpatrick with Rialto Marketing. If you want to gain clarity on where to focus your marketing efforts right now to get the best return, hop on over to our website at rialtomarketing.com. That's RIALTO marketing.com. Just click on the Get a Free Consult button. Guarantee you will walk away with some clarity on where you need to focus your efforts right now. Thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, take care.